She is the founder and president of PR Powerhouse, NKPR. She has been on Canada's Most Powerful list not once, but twice. But her passion is APJ. She's raised over $33 million in 12 years to build schools in Haiti. Welcome to My Kind Canadian. This week, it's Natasha Koifman. Hello. How are you?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here with you. And congratulations on your 20th work anniversary. In 2002, you started in your basement. And now that you've become an industry leader.
Thank you. I holidays.
Enjoyed all the success. I wonder, how's your perspective of kindness and the spirit of giving back? How has that changed for you?
I don't think it's changed. I think it's evolved. I did a TED Talk a couple of years ago on the power of showing up, which is very much around really being mindful of all the people that showed you kindness, early on in life. And so I think that for me, doing that TED Talk was really meaningful because I was able to really think back to all the people and organizations that showed me kindness and how does that translate into who and what I am today. And so I just think it's an evolution. And I think that being kind and showing up for people is an integral part of humanity. And it's certainly, a part of why I started NKPR 20 years ago, because I felt that it was important to marry, corporations with philanthropic endeavors that were aligned to their values. And therefore they would be more successful because what they're doing actually matters to both their customer base and their employee base. And so that's something that we look at with everything that we take on, and certainly everything that we have taken on over the last 20 years.
Now, APJ, Artists for Peace and Justice, what a wonderful cause. I've read up on it, and you have such star power backing it. Why do you think that is?
Well, I remember, the earthquake that happened in January over 12 years ago, and it was devastating. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. An already devastated country became even more devastated. And I remember a week after the earthquake, we held a fundraiser in Los Angeles, and we really did celebrity in Hollywood there. I mean, everyone from Ben Stiller to Barbara Streisand, Josh Brolin, Demi Moore. I mean, you name it, they were there. Sheryl Crow performed, Jackson Brown. And we all decided at that moment that what Haiti really needs is better education, because there is no free education in Haiti beyond junior high school. And so, and if you're lucky enough, you get a junior high, like an education up until that point, but so many kids don't. And so we decided at that moment, everybody that was in the room donated $50,000 a year and made a commitment for 5 years. We ended up raising just over $4.5 million with that event. And we took that money, and I remember we went to Port-au-Prince with Ben, Susan Sarandon, Olivia Wilde was on that trip, Demi Moore was on that trip. And we found our land. We bought it, and then within 18 months, our school was up, and we had our first 300 students in our school. Now there's 3,500 students that attend our school, but we felt that was educating the children of Haiti was super important and integral to the success of that country. And we just took action. I remember at the time the government said that they would give us the land if we paid for the construction of school, and we decided no, we're going to pay for the land. We didn't want to have any connection to the government per se, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to control it fully. And then we ended up donating the land to St. Luke's Foundation, who they run our school fully, led by Father Rick Frechette. So it was just, it felt like the right thing to do at the time. Haiti needed our help. And I think that's how it happens. It's just, you look for causes, they sometimes find you. You just have to listen and pay attention and do your part.
So Olivia Wilde said something that resonated with me. She says, the money goes to where it's supposed to go. Like, there's always administrative costs, but there is meaningful real results. And I feel like when people perhaps have charity fatigue or because they don't know exactly where their money is going, she felt confident that this is where it's going and you can see it. You can, and people are enjoying it and it has a meaningful impact on the people of Haiti.
Well, that was always really important to us. So we're 100% at this time.
Wow.
We're volunteer based. So I'm a volunteer. The entire board volunteers their time. So we do everything as volunteers. So then you can proudly say that 100% of every dollar that's raised goes back.
Wow.
And when we do events, we make sure that there's a sponsor that underwrites the event. So and every dollar that people put in goes back. And then in the past, over the last 12 years, we've had sponsors that will underwrite our back end costs per se. And then again, all the money raised at any of our events goes back to fund our school. So we've always been really mindful of that because it's true. You sometimes look at the paperwork and you realize that so much money, and often it's money that's needed. So I'm not even criticizing it, but you do need to pay attention to where the money goes. And I can proudly say that all the, with all the work that we've done with Haiti and APJ and St. Luke's Foundation, that's always been something that we've been very, very mindful of.
And so when people ask, how can I contribute? One of the best ways is to actually connect with your charity. And that makes it easier. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to really, care about what you're giving back to. So that was one of the reasons why I started Shop NK. I started Shop NK because I felt like there's this aspect of commerce. We're all shopping online, but then how do we make sure that there's a philanthropic element? Because I felt that if you're going to actually actively choose the charity that you're giving back to, you're going to do the research and you're going to make that connection. And then you might make that connection more like long-term. And so that was very much the thinking. And I was so pleasantly surprised to see, how every year during the holidays, I mean, we did it ourselves as well, where we, people will make a donation on your behalf during the holidays in lieu of gifts. So I had a friend of mine that sent an email and said, here are 4 charities I want you to choose from, and I'm going to make a meaningful contribution on your behalf to these charities, to one of the charities. And I love that because I learned about 4 new charities I knew nothing about initially. And I felt this sort of great connection to one of them. And I just felt, yes, thank you so much. Thank you for making the donation, but also thank you for bringing these causes to my attention. And I think that's what's really important. Like, I am finding that we have a whole generation of people and kids that want to give back. And I want them to know that giving back is more than retweeting and more than just repurposing an Instagram post.
Yes.
Right?
It's a good start.
Right. And it doesn't mean that they might not have the funds. So it's fine that if they can't support it financially, but there's so many other ways that you can support an organization. Volunteering your time, looking at your network and how do you truly influence them, not just by Instagram, but also looking at like, how can you do your part to make a meaningful impact? And so I think that's kind of the goal. And that was certainly my goal with Shop NK, where I felt like if people are making an active choice about their charity, then they're going to learn more about it. And then that's the charity that they might support more long-term.
And that gives you more intentional living, right? Because I feel right now everyone is looking for something outside themselves. There's something that they're missing, especially in this time of lockdown. And I think it's kindness, giving back to others. And kindness is free. It's bringing in your neighbor's garbage. It's saying something kind to someone, something nice about their hair, whatever it is. It needs to be done. It needs to be shared with other people. And I feel what you're doing is leading by example. So thank you, Natasha, for leading by example and making such a meaningful impact in Haiti, where in this world where there's so much talk, that the power of actually saying something and being kind makes all the difference. And this is where entertainment and charity meet.